Hello and welcome to Divine Stream Radio Podcast. I am Graeme Blaiklock, and today we're spending a little time in Psalm 106, a psalm that honestly and gently pulls back the curtains on human hearts, while also lifting our eyes to God's mercy. Psalm 106 begins with a reminder that God is good. It invites us to remember God is worthy of praise and His love doesn't fail. But then very quickly the psalm turns to something we all recognise. We have a history of forgetting God. The psalm speaks to how Israel repeatedly drifted away. They forgot God's works, they tested Him, and they chose their own way instead of trusting His guidance. And here's the thing, this psalm isn't written to shame us. It's written to wake us up. It shows that disobedience rarely starts with something dramatic. Often it starts with small forgettings, a moment where we stop listening, a decision to rely on ourselves, a quiet choice to harden the heart rather than come back to God. As Psalm 106 moves on, it traces the pattern again and again. People experienced God's help, yet still ended up complaining. They saw God's provision, yet still leaned into fear. They received God's leading, but still found ways to resist. The psalm is like a mirror, uncomfortable at times, but also strangely freeing because it tells the truth about what's real. But then, just when you might think the story is only about human failure, Psalm 106 makes a stunning turn. The psalm keeps naming sin, yes, yet it keeps returning to a deeper centre, God's compassion. In the psalm, we see that even when people fall, God does not stop being faithful. Mercy remains on the scene. The steadfast love of God is not erased by our mistakes. God can bring restoration. God can call people back. God can work even in messy seasons, especially when we finally stop pretending we don't need Him. So as we reflect on Psalm 106, I want to offer 3 simple takeaways for today. First, remember God's goodness, not just as an idea, but as a practice. When you review what God has done, answered prayers, provided strength, guided you through confusion, faith gets nourished. Second, take warning signs seriously. If you notice you're drifting, if prayer feels dry, if your heart grows hard, if you're making decisions without seeking God, don't wait for crisis to force you back. Come early, turn early. God's invitation is always present. Third, receive mercy with gratitude. Psalm 106 doesn't treat forgiveness like a cheap thing. It treats mercy like a gift. And when you realise how much grace has covered you, you start living differently, not to earn God's love, but because you're overwhelmed by it. Now take a moment and consider this. What is one area where you've been forgetting God lately? Maybe it's patience. Maybe it's trust. Maybe it's honesty with God in prayer. Psalm 106 gives us courage to bring that to the Lord because God is not hiding from us. He is ready to restore. Thanks for joining me today as we walk through Psalm 106, a psalm that tells the truth about the human heart and yet makes room for God's mercy. Thanks for listening. I invite you to join the discussion. Visit our podcast super site at godstreamradio.com. There you'll find podcasts from leading Christian authors and many Christian musicians. Plus, be sure to subscribe to the Divine Stream Radio newsletter, where you'll receive inspiring messages and have the chance to enter our weekly draw for a chance to win a beautiful A4 and 63-page study guide of the Book of Job with QR codes that take you directly to each chapter. You can subscribe by clicking the link in this podcast or by visiting divinestreamradio.com directly. Let's walk this journey of reliance on God together. Thanks for tuning in. Until next time, exercise the patience of Job, stay faithful, and seek God's guidance. Don't forget to like, listen, and subscribe, and please share and help us spread the word of Jesus Christ.